All right, oil change on our 23 VB WRX. Got her up on ramps, chocked with the e-brake in. Not a lot you're gonna need for this, 17mm socket. Torque wrench if you want. I think it's 31 foot-pounds to tighten the drain plug. 5 liters of oil. I'm doing the 820 right now. I'll probably switch over to 820. I'm doing the 020 right now. I'll probably switch over to 530 the next go around. Crush washer with OEM filter. So we're gonna get the drain bolt undone. Kind of in a funky place. No, it's not funky, but it's a little tucked up in there comparatively. So we can find it. There it is. So it's a little tucked up under the cross, I think it's transmission cross member there, or no, it's not, that's back there. It's probably the subframe. Anyway, there it is, 17mm, pop it free. I usually leave the cap on when I first start draining it so it doesn't come out like crazy. The problem is sometimes that'll chug, so hopefully we don't get a bunch of splatter, but pop that 17mm free, let her drain out, then pull our oil filter here. Yeah, just a regular oil change. So we're gonna get to it. Okay, so we got it draining out. There's a plug. Again, we're gonna replace that crush washer on there with a new one. This is some thin oil. It comes out pretty darn quick. You know, it's not like oil's typically super thick anyway, but yeah, it comes out pretty quick. So pop the cap off just to let it flow a little better. I'm gonna kind of loosely install it just so nothing falls in. Hopefully this little drip tray will catch any oil in the filter, but I'm gonna let it drain out a little longer just to make sure there's nothing in there. Then we'll take the filter off. Hopefully we won't need a wrench. Let's see if we can loosen it. It's hot as hell. Barely ran the engine too, but it loosens up. So thankfully the dealership must have done it hand tight. So there we go. So we'll go ahead, let it drain out, and go ahead, change out our crush washer. You can still hear it dripping a little bit down there, but we'll change out our crush washer. And once it's done draining, torque our bolt down to 31 foot-pounds, or our drain plug down to 31 foot-pounds. And I think we'll put about, I'm thinking about 4 quarts in, or sorry, 4 liters. I think it's just, I'll take a look at the specs, but I think it's not quite 5 liters. So probably put about 4 in, make sure we see it on the dipstick. Start it up, get it off the ramps, and then top it off. Once you get the oil filter off, I highly recommend cleaning this area in here. Mine had some gunk. It wasn't where it would get into the oil system. It was on the outside. I'm sure from, you know, debris coming in, you know, with windstorms and everything we got in Arizona. But yeah, I mean, if you didn't clean that, you'd be threading this thing back on with a bunch of junk in there and possibly getting in your oil system. So, you know, be really careful and push it out to the outer edge. Try to catch that stuff. Makes me wonder, you know, how well the average shop is cleaning these out when they pull it in, or, you know, when they pull it into an oil change. I got a feeling they just, like any other place, they just plug and chug. So they're going volume, they're unscrewing these and throwing them back in without really any care to this. So it's something to be aware of. I can see, and that's like my 4th wipe. And I think what happens is it gets under here, because you can see it's not, there's plenty of room. There's going to be a gap here between that little pan and this surface, so it probably builds up kind of around that outer edge. And then when you take it off, any oil that, you know, spills out could draw it in. You know, maybe not a lot, but seems like something you really don't want, because that sealing surface is on that little ring. So anyway, something to be aware of. We're going to clean up a little bit more, throw a little fresh oil on our O-ring there, and put the filter down. Okay, it's a sad world of excitement here. I've never bought Motul oil before. This is cool. It's got a little pour spout built in. when you go to pull this guy up, it's got this little pour spout. I don't know, I just think that's pretty neat. Anyway, I'm sure everybody else is like, yeah, it has a pour spout, big deal. But I think it's pretty cool. So, and it's sealed up really well. You got a cap and then another little tab here. So that's kind of neat. Anyway, just side note. Okay, new crush washer. I always set them so the tapered end points up. I think that's right. I think you want that tapered end to crush against the oil pan. It may not matter, but that's usually how I put these bad boys on. So gonna go ahead and run it in and torque it to 31 foot-pounds. Okay, we just got a little bit more than 4 quarts in it. We pulled the dipstick. What is on the ramps is about halfway, so enough to start it up for sure. And then just rolled it down the ramps, and we're letting it sit for a couple minutes, let the oil drain back. Check it, top it off, and all set. So pretty easy oil change, especially with the filter up here. Again, the only thing I think you should look out for is any debris in that little spill cup. So make sure you clean that out. Don't push it in, you know, kind of push it out to the side. And that's it. 31 foot-pounds to torque the drain bolt. Make sure you have a new crush washer, new filter, and your choice of oil. 5 liters. Hope it helps.